This is reality TV at its best.
Hey, those people get paid for it.
You
So
better believe
watch
it.
out. We're going to make you pay.
All right.
Because we don't get paid for it.
I'd like to open the meeting of the Littleton Board of Health, October 13th. The time is 7:13. We're running a little bit late. Administrative matters, board member reports.
I have one board member report. Although we've had a very benign summer regarding West Nile virus and EEE, we now have had the third death to West Nile virus. 2 were in Suffolk, previously reported, and the newest one was in Middlesex. And I just would like to remind everybody that as long as the temperatures are over 55, 58 degrees, mosquitoes are still active, and to protect yourself when you're outdoors.
We received this notification from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in regards to what Ian was just talking about. And there are suggestions as to what people can do to help protect themselves. I'm not gonna go into all the minutia underneath these titles. But one is to obviously avoid mosquito bites. Try to mosquito-proof your home and protect your animals. Although there haven't been a lot of deaths, every one is important, so. And everybody knows that standing water in the yard in old tires or anything else that can trap rainwater is not a good thing either. Anything else, Gino?
No, everything's fine. I'm sorry that I was late. I had to notarize some papers and,
Okay.
okay.
Minutes, we have minutes from 2 previous meetings. Has anybody or everybody had a chance to read them?
Yes.
Just 1 second, I'll be all done.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Ian?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for the meeting of 7/14/15.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Gino?
Aye, I'm sorry.
And the minutes for the meeting of 9/1/15.
I'll make a motion to pass those minutes.
15, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence, we had a notification from the state of Mass, Commonwealth of Mass, which I already mentioned about the West Nile virus. And for the members, the annual Massachusetts Associated Health Boards Certification Program, November 14th in Marlborough at the Holiday Inn. I am going to do my very best to get to that, but there is something else scheduled for that day, and I am going to have to see if I can get out of it.
Taunton, huh? Can I have all those?
There's one in Marlboro, one in Taunton,
Okay,
and a Marlboro one.
we can go either one. Maybe it'll be the same.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I'd probably go to Marlboro, be easy for me.
And we have a notification here from the DEP. in regards to the changes to the Mass DEP underground injection control regulations. And this is in regards to stormwater, water purification, backwash, swimming pool, drainage, groundwater infiltration, and geothermal wells. And the town of Littleton at the present time is looking into a separate stormwater sewerage system, which I'm sure was brought about by this. And on Saturday, October 17th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Air Shirley Regional Middle School, there is a recycle event for your reusables.
That's a good idea.
And they have a list here of the items that you could drop off: household goods, rigid plastic, textiles, books, CDs, DVDs, video games, garden supplies, bikes, scooters, tennis balls, paper and media for shredding, styrofoam and bubble wrap, usable construction items, paint, tools, hardware, office arts and craft supplies, electronics. There's a dollar sign next to that. I don't know if you'll get money for those. That's what it appears. Sporting goods, wood pellet, birdseed bags, and house keys, eyeglasses, soaps, shampoos, wine corks, dog toys, and much more. And again, that's a recyclable, reusables event at the Air Shirley Regional Middle School on Saturday, October 17th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Shelley, do we have any permits to sign?
Yes, but they're all for hearings tonight.
Okay. Safety fencing discussion for 1115 Taylor Street. The walkthrough at 1115 Taylor Street to see if the owner of the property has done anything to bring it up to a habitable state took place, do you recall the date, about 3 weeks ago?
It was the
I don't
10th.
recall the date, but,
It was the 10th of September.
okay, thank you. And basically, nothing has been done, and it was suggested that the current mortgage holder be requested to have a fence put around the property because of the dangers that are involved there. And I just wanted to bring it up to see if anybody else had anything to say about it, and to see if we want to move forward and have a letter sent to the current mortgage holder in regards to putting a fence around the property to secure it. Does anybody have anything to say on it?
Well, if a fence is needed, I think we should probably send a letter for safety. That's what we always argue. Something might happen, the town be liable. Because right now, we are responsible for it. So we send a letter and expedite and get it done. That's all. At least we are doing our job.
You want to make that as a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to make sure that we expedite it and make sure they put a fence around for safety purpose.
And this letter's going to go to who?
This
Does it have
letter
to
will
come
be
from town
sent-
council,
it
or
will-
can't we send one?
Eventually from the town council, yes, and also with the recommendation of, from the board.
It should be sent by town council
Okay.
representing the board, and
So that's the motion, to have town council send a letter
correct, to the current,
to the current
Mortgage
mortgage holder.
holder.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Now, we have a hearing at 7:15, but we started late, and
96 Great Road.
nobody objects. I will start that hearing now.
Okay.
That hearing is for 96 Great Road.
These are the green cards
Thank you.
as required by the regulations. Notify the abutters because we're doing work within 10 feet of the property line. My name's Neil Gorman. I'm from David Ross Associates. And Barb Brennan, William Cadden's daughter, who is the applicant, is in attendance as well. Oh, and I also have revised plans and a revised letter as requested by Jim Gariffi, your health agent.
Okay.
I put a little package together with the latest letter and a
Okay, thank
reduced
you.
size print for everybody. I also included just some helpful images from Google and, from Google front view and an overhead view, just to see where we are at 96 Great Road. If you're familiar with Route 119 heading towards Acton, it's the first house on the right after you pass Bonsai West. It's a single-family home, 3 bedrooms. In this first Google image, you can see that there's a very little corner of this property that's occupied. I'll explain to you that in a minute. And then you can see now that there's, in the front of the house, there's, existing driveway, 119, and existing, the right-of-way for 119 is quite expansive, so there's not too much room between the front of the house and their front property line. You want me to go ahead and explain the site?
Sure.
Is that the property that was just repaved, or is that next door?
That was next door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just heard about that myself. So they're in the process of selling the home, therefore needed to upgrade it to Title V standards. Right now, they have an existing cesspool in front of the house, between the house and the road. We are proposing to tie into the existing plumbing in that same location, setting a new 1,500-gallon 2-compartment tank, as your regulations require, followed by a 1,000-gallon pump chamber. And then we're going to have a force main running around the south of the house to a new leaching system. The site has an intermittent stream to the north of the house that goes into a culvert and under Route 119.
Okay.
There's also associated, shaded in my green here, bordering vegetated wetland to that intermittent stream. We went to the Littleton Conservation Commission last week with a notice of intent, and they have agreed to our project and are in the process of issuing an order of conditions following your approval.
And you are 50 feet away from those wetland borders?
Correct. As you can see here, I have highlighted in yellow a 50-foot buffer zone from the wetlands and from that intermittent stream.
Okay.
So, as you can see, the entire leaching system and the tanks are outside of 50 feet from the wetlands.
Okay.
There will be some grading work associated with the breakout of the septic system within that. It's currently a lawn in the backyard with a patio area as well. The brick patio area will be removed and possibly replaced in different location, depending on the owner's needs. The real interesting fact on this project is this hedgerow that runs kind of at an angle through our property line. You can see in the overhead shots as well that there's this Arborvitae hedgerow that sits on a berm a couple feet above the grade. That is the abutter's hedgerow. It starts along their driveway and kind of As you see on the plan, it almost bisects right between the two houses. Unfortunately, the property line does a different angle than the hedgerow. The neighbors are aware, we've brought it to their attention, but we are not planning to alter that hedgerow in any way from what we're doing. We can actually use that bermed area to help us with the grading, because that's where the grading is closest to the property line. So we'll be actually grading up to that berm that already exists. We chose a Presby EnviroSeptic system as an alternative option for this leaching system because of the small area outside of 50 feet from the buffer zone, the property line, and the house all together at once. By keeping it greater than 50 feet away, we're able to apply or request a 2-foot groundwater reduction, which helps us make this grading work in that tight window. And it is slightly larger than the 400 square feet minimum needed. It's a 2-minute per inch percolation rate. It's fairly high groundwater. The soils had to be sent to a lab, even though we did the testing this summer. It was still kind of wet. We sent it to the lab. It came back with a coarse, it's a sand texture, but we had a 2-minute per inch percolation rate. So we are seeking 3 Title V local upgrade approvals. 310 CMR 15405-1B is a reduction of the system location setback from a cellar wall from 20 feet to 10 feet. And that's at this nearest corner at the back of the house to the nearest corner of the Presby leaching sand. 10 feet is what we're proposing. 310 CMR 15405-1H is the reduction of the required 5-foot separation between the bottom of the soil absorption system and the high groundwater elevation to 3 feet, in accordance with the DEP remedial use approval for the Presby EnviroSeptic leaching system. As already discussed, with high groundwater and a very small area to work with, that 2-foot groundwater reduction really helps us make this work without impervious barriers or retaining walls. 310 CMR 15405-1I is a sieve analysis may be performed in accordance with the department guidance if a percolation test in accordance with 310 CMR 15104 and 15105 cannot be performed as determined by the approving authority. Like I said, the material was excellent out there, and Jim Murphy agreed that it was okay to take a sieve analysis, send it to UMass Labs. Those results are right on our plan here. And then under the Littleton Board of Health regulations, we're seeking a variance under Regulation 27, which is no portion of the fill requirement for a subsurface sewage disposal system shall be within 10 feet of a property line. We have proposed, there's fill proposed within 7 feet of the property line. Again, and that is right along where this berm is. Here's the hedgerow berm. Our nearest point of the fill is in that area, about 7 feet from that property line. And we get further away from that property line as we get further away from the back of the house.
Is that grading at that point going to be higher than that berm, or?
No, the
equal
berm
to
is, it's about the same height as the berm, but then on top of the berm, there's 15 to 20-foot high arborvitaes that are there.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, so on this plan,
yeah,
Arborvitae is this row?
correct.
Okay, so those are trees?
Trees, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if you see in this image of
It's not the berm.
the arborvitaes are on top of the berm, so there's a 2-foot high mulch berm, and then on top of that is planted the arborvitaes.
Okay, so the
They already exist.
lot line bisects that.
Correct.
That
They were-
plot.
They were
Okay.
built in the wrong location, thus,
Okay, got it.
but we can make this work without having to have those removed.
Okay.
And again, for this particular site with high groundwater, we did do a third test hole further in the backyard, but it was not really that suitable. So we stayed up much closer to the house. There was some fill material back there and wetter soils, so
Yeah, there's not much you can do.
not much
The
we can do.
wetlands.
I mean, we have 2.6 acres, but as you can see, the wetlands bisect the property, leaving us with very little area to work with. I think it's our opinion that we did the best we could with the site conditions and the characteristics, and, with the minimal amount of variances needed.
So you go from 20 feet to 10 feet, you want to say, or you going to 7 feet?
It's 20 feet to 10 feet from the foundation of our house to the system.
Right,
And the grading is within 7 feet of the property line.
okay.
All right, I'd like to read Jim's comments on this. The sewage disposal system for this site has failed and a replacement system has been designed. The site has a number of restrictions that make it very difficult to design a system in full compliance with Title V and your regulations, high seasonal water table and extensive wetlands. The wetlands have severely reduced the lot area available for a system, which is the reason for the requested local upgrade approvals and variance to your regulations. I don't have a problem with the request, as I don't believe there is a feasible alternative, and the area is served by town water. I would recommend the placement of a poly barrier between the house and the leaching area.
Do you have that in the plan?
I did not know that comment existed, so no, it's not in the plan as of right now.
You understand now?
I do understand what he's asking for, yes.
Do you have any comments, Ann?
Yeah, do you, will that be easy for you to implement?
It could be implemented, yes.
You're okay with that?
We have a 5-foot overdig around the leaching area.
Uh-huh.
If we put it right at the edge of that 5-foot overdig, that'll leave another 5 feet of natural soil between the barrier and the house. It's an added protection of effluent moving towards the foundation if there was a
And
crack in the
also, yeah,
foundation.
and also I think everybody.
I think that's a fair assessment on Mr. Griffey's part,
Mm-hmm.
and can be incorporated in the plan fairly easily at not much of an expense to the homeowner, so.
Okay. Do you have any
Good.
comments?
I'm good.
All right, could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to accept the plan dated 10/9/15 from Daniel Wolf's office for 96 Great Road, Littleton, Mass., with the Title V local upgrade approvals for section out of Title V 15.405(1)B, reduction of system location setback from cellar wall 20 feet to 10 feet, section 405(1)H, reduction of required 5-foot separation between the bottom of the soil absorption system and the high groundwater elevation to 3 feet, and section 405(1)I, a sieve analysis required. And Littleton, a Board of Health Regulation 27, no portion of the fill requirement for a subsurface sewage disposal system within 10 feet of a property line, including Jim Gareffi's comment to put in a barrier between the house and the soil absorption system.
Poly barrier.
Poly barrier.
Okay, you all set with that?
I
I second it now, okay?
thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I can't read tonight.
This? This?
It makes too much noise, right? Is it? I think
Let you know what we have.
too much noise with the paper.
Have a good night, thank you.
Good night.
Good night, thank you.
Smiley.
Sorry about that. Okay, next,
119.
hearing 7:30 for 119 Goldsmith Street.
You gonna give us trouble? Just because you're smiling, right?
Well, I'm smiling because I'm going to be on TV.
Oh, but they can't see you, you gotta turn around.
Oh. Well, good evening. My name is Steve Sears from David Ross Associates.
Yes.
And unlike Neil's presentation, I don't have any Google Maps to show you.
Pretty to look at.
Yeah, they are. But I'm here on behalf of Phyllis McGrath. She owns the house at 119 Goldsmith Street. And and she is also replacing her leaching facility. Oh, green carrots. All right.
Okay.
And again, we're here because we do have two local upgrade approval requests to make. The plan actually meets all of Littleton rules and regulations. However, we are asking for two local upgrade approval. This is an existing three-bedroom house.
Big a lot, huh?
Yes, it is. It's like a double lot.
Yeah, for that neighborhood, it is.
And again, the system is a lot bigger, for example, than like Neil did a Presby. But this one here, we don't need a Presby, we can fit everything without any retaining walls and everything, so we went right ahead with the stone and pipe design. It shows a proposed septic tank and then a pump chamber, and then a leaching facility. And the reason it's also big is because one of our request is, actually, this is a town regulation. I believe you had maximum perk rate of 40 minutes per inch on any property that's only, I believe, 30,000 square feet. And we had a 60-minute perk rate on this. It was 50.
60-minute perk rate?
60 minutes per inch, yes. So we're asking for one Littleton regulation, Regulation 5B, maximum percolation rate allowed is 40 minutes per inch, and that's with the square footage of the lot. We're asking for, we designed it for 60 minutes per inch.
And meet Title 5.
Yes. And then the other one is the local upgrade approval. We're asking for a reduction, so we don't need retaining walls, and we can meet the fill and regrading on here for, from 4-foot offset to a 3-foot groundwater offset. And that's about it. I mean, we're
Yeah,
just,
no problem.
it's just gonna
Easy.
replace the system
The
that's
system.
in failure now and put a new
How
one in.
old is the house?
I believe it was built in the 40s or the 50s. It's one of the first houses on this.
In that
When we
area.
built Andrea Street through here. It was one of the first main houses here. And that's probably why they had the bigger lot. And then after...
That's why they have a big lot, huh?
Yeah, then all the other lots around it are on the
Smaller.
smaller lots.
Yeah, right.
Is the existing system where this one is going, or is the existing system a cesspool?
Here's the existing septic tank. It's right, if you can see that.
I see it.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the leach field is, it shows a little, it says proximate leaching area. It's right
Yep.
below where the pump chamber's going, right. And we didn't outline it exactly, but it's in that area somewhere. So they may encounter some of the old leach field.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, and what they'll do is just strip it out with, if they run into it. We do have a note on the plan on the sheet number 1. If anything's encountered, it's got to be removed. Let's see, the existing septic tank to be pumped out and backfilled with sand, or removed. If during construction, any portion of the existing leach area is encountered, that portion should also be removed and replaced with clean sand fill. So that's about it. It's just,
Jim's comments. The existing sewage disposal system of this house is in the water table and therefore in failure. Soil testing was completed and a design for a replacement system reviewed by this office. The site has two main obstacles to full compliance with Title V and your regulations: very high seasonal water table and very high perk rate. The applicant's lot is larger than most in the neighborhood, which allows for the system to physically fit on the site, but because of the size and height of the system, the fill gets within 10 feet of the lot lines, even with a reduction of the groundwater offset. I don't have a problem with the request since the area is served by town water. I would recommend the system installer to make every effort to complete the final grading to direct the surface water to the catch basin shown on the plan. And I noticed there are two catch basins
One up
on
at
the
the
rear.
street, and there's one in the rear.
Yeah.
And he's, what was it?
He's requesting that the installer make every effort
Not to,
to complete the final grading to direct the surface water to the catch basins.
oh, okay. Well, I suppose that can be done, because the toe of the slope of the fill is right here, the
In that
catch
corner.
basin is right in the low spot.
Right.
This would be the lower spot, so if they swale this and run everything there, then it'll pick up here
Yeah, everything else will
Avoid any
happen on its
ponding.
own.
Right.
and
to
run
go-
out.
Right.
Yeah.
We actually put that note on the plan, too, about, I didn't make sure.
Should also be a variance request.
Yeah, well, contractor, contractor shall grade to ensure proper drainage and avoid creating ponding area, so
Right.
we kind of, in line with what Jim's comments are, too. We agree with that.
And in his comments, he says that the fill gets within 10 feet of the lot lines.
You do that?
Now,
We
I don't know
show-
whether he means by that it gets to 10 feet, or if you're going to need a variance
Within 10
for the
feet.
fill.
Yeah, we're 7 feet off, I believe. Title 5 says 5 feet.
So
Okay, so, but our town reg is
Oh.
10, so we need to have that written up.
Okay, I can add that to this and the plan and get new copies to
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
So you're going to be looking for a variance to fill within 10 feet of the lot line as
Yes,
well?
I guess so, yes. That one lot line there.
Any comments?
I know, that was my comment.
No comment?
Yeah, I'll
Not
add
this
that.
big, you can do,
Yeah, I'll add that to both the letter and the plan and get new copies up to Michelle.
All right, I'd like to suggest that before a motion is made to accept this, that the permit not be signed until
Yep.
that's done.
That's fine.
I make
So,
a
do I hear a motion?
Make a
motion
condition of the
that-
motion.
I make a motion to, we will accept it when the permit's being signed.
With what variance?
Right.
When
Yeah,
the variance they're
accept.
looking for,
Yep, accept
which is
it.
10 feet, right?
Yeah, not a problem.
Second?
Second?
Are we accepting this whole plan and with the
Right.
addition? Okay, I didn't hear that,
Right.
with all the
With all
variances.
the variance, I already said that.
Okay, accept that, yep, second.
You seconded?
Yeah, that's okay, as long as it's
All those in
understood.
favor?
Aye.
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 So you'll be back anyway, right?
Yeah, I'll take care of that and get new copies right to Michelle.
Set up a date for, if you can do it quickly, we,
Yeah, I'll just drop them off or put them in the mail.
The permit just won't be signed until
Right.
that's taken care
all
of.
right?
That's fine.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I don't believe the house is for sale, so they're not
rushing.
got a deadline going, they just want to fix it. So,
Okay.
okay, thank you for your time.
No, thank you for coming. Good night.
Thank you. Next hearing is
Okay.
61 King Street, Civil Solutions.
No trouble. I'm Kirk Fitzpatrick with Civil Solutions, and I'm here with Mike Reynolds.
Mike Reynolds, the owner.
There's property at 61 King Street. And basically, what we have before you is a proposed upgrade for the existing three-bedroom dwelling. Right now, he's got actually two cesspools, one located off the back of the house here, this circle, and there's another one in the backyard of the house, shown here in this circle. So this property is 61 King Street. It's almost opposite the high school. It's 15,000 square feet, the lot's 100 by 150. And it's extremely flat. So we did 2 test holes in the rear yard. Water line comes in the front, and actually a good portion of the front yard is a circular driveway. So we did 2 test holes in the backyard. Both of them had consistent seasonal high water table of 6 feet. We had 24 inches at top and sub, and then went down to 10 feet of a loamy sand and gravel, and ran a perk of 2 minutes an inch. So what we're proposing to do is to put in a new 1,500-gallon 2-compartment tank, which is actually gonna be partly under the existing driveway. It's going to be H20 loading, so we can drive on it without having to worry about it. And that's going to flow to a 1,000-gallon pump chamber, which will also be H20 loading, and that's going to feed a leach field that's 16 feet by 28 feet, located in the backyard in the area of the 2 test holes. With that being said, it does require 2 variances. One is approval sought under 310 CMR 15.451B to reduce the requisite offset from a slab foundation, which would be the garage shown here in the corner, to a septic tank and pump chamber from 10 feet to 6 feet and 9 feet respectively. Basically, the septic tank's going to be 6 feet off, the pump chamber's 9. And we're also asking for approval under 310 CMR 15.451H to reduce the requisite offset to groundwater from 5 feet to 4 feet. Basically, by reducing the groundwater offset, allows us to almost keep the system entirely in the ground. If we go with the full 5-foot offset, he's going to have a 1-foot bump in the yard. So by going with the 4-foot, it almost blends in. It still requires a pump because of the elevation of the plumbing coming out, but it does allow us to blend it into the property a lot more effectively than without it. So Mike bought this house in '96 as a 3-bedroom. This is a page out of the Title V inspection that shows it as 3 bedrooms. The assessors have it as 2 bedrooms and 8 rooms total, which
What does Title V have it as? What is the
the board,
inspections or the board?
this is the page out of the inspection report. Other than that, there's nothing on record at the Board of Health office. Sure. So Jim was concerned about that it was assessed as 2. So I had Mike do up a little floor plan that shows basically the layout of the property, or the layout of the house. I think it's kind of tough to have 2 bedrooms and 8 rooms, but...
It says 3 bedrooms. It says 3 bedrooms.
Right, and that's what he bought it at.
That's how I was led to believe, but, you know.
When
Well,
was this
I know what
inspection
Jim's
due?
comments, he's gonna, that's its
You
concern.
go by Board of Health, not assessors, but...
Well, if we have something on file as far as what the system is,
That's what... Yeah.
330, 3 bedrooms. Typically, Jim will defer to the assessor's records if there's nothing on record.
Sure.
But I would argue that this is on record, and that's, he bought it as a 3-bedroom.
And where'd you get that record from, that one? From our office? Our office or from
That's what I had received when I was
this
buying the house back in
this piece of
96,
paper
and
right
I
here?
wanted the same.
This would have been submitted to Neshoba at the time of the
Oh, okay,
of the
to
inspection
Neshoba.
in '96.
Oh, okay, all right, so it's from
I
Neshoba.
think it technically came from Hahnemann Realtors in Concord, but
yeah, it didn't
It
come
would
from
have
the
been
show.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
So I
Okay.
pointed to Honeyman
yeah.
Concord.
Okay.
What's the address on that?
61 King.
61
Okay, I was
King
reading
Street.
something over here, but I let the chairman tell you the comment made by our agent.
He says there was a Title V inspection report that provides a flow for a 2-bedroom house. Do we have that anywhere in our paperwork tonight? I don't think
We
do.
have, no, 61 King Street, I have it right here. That is only for 2-bedroom.
No, I'm looking, Gino, for the record that Jim alludes to in his comments.
Oh, okay.
He is alluding to an inspection report that says it has a flow for 2 bedrooms.
But that's not, well, that doesn't correspond with what Mike has for when he bought the house in 96. And it hasn't,
But that's from a realtor, and we can't go by realtor documents.
Yeah, I mean, it's been assessed all these years as a
Yeah.
2-bedroom.
So,
But we don't, I don't see the record for the 2-bedroom either. It wasn't put in our paperwork.
yeah, I'd like to see that too.
So-
Jim never mentioned there was a Title V for 2. It was just
So-
he was trying to defer to the assessor's records.
So,
Well, that's because we have nothing in our records to indicate what it was designed for when it was put in. I'm curious as to why it's 2 single cesspools, not in series.
maybe 2 different systems.
Is one of them for gray water?
No, one of them,
I think,
because you have a bathroom in the back of the house that
Back of the
feeds this,
bathroom,
that
yeah.
feeds this cesspool, and then there's another bathroom in the front,
yeah.
and that feeds across the front of the house, goes under the stairs, the crawl space, and feeds this cesspool.
Well, that's
It is
That's
unique.
different.
I guess what, I understand it, and it's just kind of, the house was, there was an addition added, and I guess at one point it was a doctor's office. And they had a bathroom added at that
Yeah.
point. They took the garage out, added a bathroom, then they had the room, examining room and whatever. It's all I could figure, from, trying to find out, because when I've come down trying to find anything over the years, when I've done anything on the house, no one seems to have. I'm kind of going in, here's what I have. Anytime I make any changes, I bring it right into them, and just so that there is some records, but being here when the house was built, I can't answer much.
I understand.
Looking at this, it looks to me like this may have been the doctor's area. This was his office, and the bathroom was
Yeah.
for the,
It's not as wide, that's why I drew that line in there, but it was like, to be a bedroom, it only needs, like, one little, a curtain or wall there to add to it,
right.
which would have been the,
Well, Jim's comments. Based on soil and testing conducted on site, I believe the leaching on this site is in failure. The applicant has had a plan drawn for a replacement sewage disposal system, and he has requested local upgrade approvals to allow for its installation. I have a problem with the request, as I believe the applicant is looking to increase the design flow of the sewage disposal system for the existing structure based on the current public records available. Title V inspection report and assessor's records. And it would be inappropriate to grant these for a system designed to increase flow. My reasoning is provided below. Title V states that the design flow for a facility is determined by the sewage disposal permit on file at the Board of Health. The system is old enough that no permit exists, though there is a Title V inspection report that provides a flow, 2-bedroom house. It is the current practice for this office to use the assessor's records to determine flow when no septic system permit existing. In parentheses, the assessors have the house listed as a 2-bedroom house. The applicant is looking to design the system to accommodate 3 bedrooms. Based on the public record, this represents an increase in design flow, and Title V would require the proposed system to be in full compliance. I am concerned that if the variance is granted in this situation, it may set a precedent for others to ask for similar consideration. I believe the applicant should either design the system in full compliance or be restricted to the number of bedrooms noted in the public record.
Well, I can,
Any
if I may
comments?
say something, I've been quiet a little bit. I understand that this was a house that belonged to a doctor. Okay, you gotta,
Yeah.
okay, the system is made for 2-bedroom. You wanted to just replace the leach field, am I correct?
Correct.
All right.
With the full system.
But you have enough property there to redo the whole thing. So that means you have to put a new septic system if you want to have 3-bedroom. Another thing is the the office that the doctor was using is over 200 square feet, 250 square feet.
That I couldn't answer.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have more fact here, so you have a choice. In my opinion, because there's only 3 of us, I don't see no problem because the land is big enough to accommodate a new septic system and a leach field. But if you want to put a leach field big enough to accommodate for 3-bedroom, even though you are restricting in a sense to 2-bedroom. So I will not be able to recommend or voice my vote in your favor. You have to do 2 things. Modify the system with a new design, and you have no problem put another bedroom. You find out if the bedroom which you claim the doctor was using as his office has more than 250 square feet. As long as it's got a window and a closet, but then you have to change the system. I'm sorry to say that. It happened to me. I had to do that too, in another state. And I apologize that you can't have your wish, at least for tonight.
With all due respect, your system is designed in compliance with Title V, except for, and you are planning to service 330 gallons per day.
Correct.
So your system is built and designed for the upgrade, correct? And it is built for Title V, except for you just need the pump chamber and septic tank offset. Correct.
And the groundwater offset.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the system is a new system, and you're going to replace the septic tank, and you are going to replace the pump chamber, and you're going to put a new soil absorption system in.
Correct. Everything will be new from the
Okay.
face of the house.
And it will be built to accommodate 330 gallons per day, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so,
But there's no reserve area, which is what Jim's saying. Jim's saying.
so what are you lacking?
To design in full compliance, I couldn't be asking for the 2 local upgrade approvals before you tonight. It would also need a reserve area. So we'd have
And
to
there's no
elevate
way
the
you
system
can
an
do a
additional
reserve
foot.
area. You don't have a reserve area.
I guess I'm more concerned about elevating it an additional foot. To create a reserve area, we have to relocate the system closer to the house and raise it the foot. That's probably going to direct runoff back towards the house. I mean, it's an option if you want to do that, and then put in a reserve area. It really depends what you want to get out of the house in the future.
Can't you put reserve in between? Can you do that with this system?
And typically, if you change from, this is a leaching field, if you change it to leaching trenches, the
Okay.
profile of the system gets even taller. The leach field's
Okay.
only half a foot deep, so to get the same amount of square footage for leaching area with trenches, typically they're
Okay.
taller, and that's what we're trying to avoid here.
Okay, so I'm aware of the local upgrade would have to go, but you don't have a reserve planned in here?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
There are so many
Okay.
houses in town that could come before us asking for the same thing. If it can be done in full compliance with a reserve area, I agree with Jim, because if we allow this, we're going to get inundated with homes around the lake area.
I understood it was going to be a good discussion when I came in with this one.
Well-
But I also think he's getting penalized a little bit if, when he bought the house in '96, that if he's handed a Title V inspection report and it's marketed to him as a 3-bedroom house,
But that's
and it
not,
passed,
Yeah, but that was
That's-
the,
it's not, but it is, because now he's come to replace the system, and he's being told, no, you actually only have a 2-bedroom, you need to spend a lot more, you're not allowed to take advantage of something that somebody else who had a Title V inspection and was called 3 bedrooms with the same number of rooms, and it's okay.
but what you're referencing back in '96 is a private industry real estate thing. It's not the Board of Health.
Which would have been turned in to the Board of Health office. It would have
But
been
it
nice
did.
if Jim had sent over the page from the Title V inspection report, if he has one that says 2 bedrooms. That's this evening is the
Yeah.
first I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, according to that, he claims that is two-bedroom,
I understand,
Yeah.
but if,
from the,
If there-
from the design. We
There's enough
understand your
room
point.
there to accommodate what you want to do with a fully compliant
are you happy with two? or
three-bedroom
one?
system.
Well, I mean, it's,
When I talked to Jim, he's basically said I had two options. We could try to design it for
Exactly.
compliance, or we could offer a two-bedroom deed restriction. Because I wouldn't make the system any smaller in any case. It's not a large footprint for a leaching area.
Yeah, it's
The
not.
leaching area is only
You've got more
16
room
by
there.
28.
You've got more room there.
If I owned the property, I would go in full compliance and put in a system in for a three-bedroom.
Then when you're, when
Because
it's
the
summer,
value of the property is not
You
going
have
to
a
be
better
there if you go the
Because
other
you're
way.
redoing your system anyway. Might as well do it in full compliance. I didn't.
but I mean, it's just like, is it,
Details.
it's just gonna raise everything
It's
up.
going to raise it up an additional foot.
1 foot, which is not too bad, 1 foot.
And it's
And
just
it's
like,
also going to get moved closer to the house. Because we'll probably put the reserve area, well, I guess we could push it farther back and put the reserve here.
You may need a retaining wall between the house. I don't
Maybe a
know
I would hope
how
not.
much it's-
I don't know, for a foot.
Because you can
What's the
put-
elevation of the house out of the ground now? 2 feet?
About a foot and a half.
Oh, well, it'll be close.
Yeah, you have, they've got plenty of room. You can push it back this way.
I mean, I'd rather have to get it all the way up for a three-bedroom, because that's how I was,
Yeah.
That's why you bought it
And
for.
and it's like
I
how I
would if I were
was,
you.
and it's
There'll
just
be
like,
more problems.
but I mean, it's just like, this is all new to me, coming, not from the area I used to pay the taxes and, in this public sewer, so it's like,
Yeah.
Title V, it's all, and,
Right.
Would you gain anything by turning the system?
Moving around a little bit,
Possibly. To be honest with you, I haven't looked at it, so.
yeah.
I was
Right.
just looking at the area that's there and thinking maybe.
And we can look at it when they design the already made and everything, we can figure
I
it
mean,
out.
if you needed a retaining wall along the side lot line in the back, if you turn them and move them further back, if it was my land, I'd rather have a retaining wall there and there than here. That's
I would
just
too.
me. So,
So
My
We have
recommendation,
a
you want to go
motion?
back and work on that a little bit? And then
Certainly.
come back?
yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion that you have another date and come back with a new drawing, design and everything, and trying to fulfill the wishes of the gentleman here for
Sure.
3 bedrooms. All right? And I'm sorry you're coming from an area where you have sewage treatment. But we have to be not strict,
I
but
mean,
we
like I
have
said,
to...
I'm just trying to play the game the right way with all the rules, and it's just, it's kind of new to me, and it's like, my big thing is just trying to get it done, because I'm trying to
Right.
do under the other, the benefit plan.
Okay.
So that's why it's like,
It's okay.
trying to get it at the last moment,
Okay.
to get everything in the town.
I'll be glad to notarize your paper when you get it done.
And I haven't, I don't know where that Title V came from. I don't have anything in my file,
Okay,
so I would talk to Jim.
I will.
Make a date. Make a
I don't know
date.
what that is.
thank
Thank you
you.
for coming.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm not leaving yet.
Not leaving yet. Oh, we got one more.
Get another,
I can,
I'm just gonna wait.
sure.
Okay,
Which one is it?
hearing
Rita?
scheduled for 8 PM. We're pretty much on schedule again. 6 Rita Lane, Civil Solutions, welcome back.
Again, I'm Kirk Fitzpatrick with Civil Solutions, and I'm here half from the Colliffs for their property at 6 Beatrice, I'm sorry, 6 Rita Lane. This is 6 Rita Lane. The property is comprised of 10,350 square feet. It's got an existing 3-bedroom dwelling shown here, small driveway in the front. We actually showed the neighbor's house, just to show the proximity to the neighbor's house and the grading on the neighboring lot. There's a tree line that runs down, tree line / brush line runs down the lot line and then across the back. This side yard is fairly flat. It contains the existing leaching area. Right now, it's got a 1,000-gallon tank that's underneath the back porch in here that's going to be upgraded to a new 1,500-gallon 2-compartment. So So we did 2 test holes. We started out in the front here and then went towards the rear of the property. Both of them are too wet to run the percolation test, even though it's been an extremely dry summer. So test hole 1, we had an observed water table at 64 inches and a seasonal high water table at 3 feet. The second test hole, we also had 64 inches and then a seasonal high water table at 30 inches. So we sent the soil off to the lab for particle size analysis, and that came back as a sandy loam. So basically, the system gets designed based on a 30-minute per inch perk rate. So basically, what we proposed is a new 1,500-gallon, 2-compartment septic tank that's going to feed a 1,000-gallon pump chamber, and that's going to feed a system composed of a Presby Environmental that's going to be 32 feet long by 19.5 feet wide. So with the use of the Presby, we're asking for approval from your board to reduce the requisite groundwater offset from 4 feet to 2 feet, which is allowed with the Presby for remedial use. We're asking for the use of the sieve analysis under 310 CMR 15.451I, and we're asking to allow fill within 10 feet of a property line from Littleton Board of Health Regulation 27. So basically, with the 3 feet to the water table, excuse me, with the 2.5 feet to the water table, the system will start half a foot in the ground and then be built up a little bit. The area where the system's going is extremely flat, and then the rear yard slopes up to the property line, as does the side lot line. So the area where the fill is going to be within 10 feet of the lot line is going to be along the adjacent property line to the neighbors. So it's actually, we just catch the grading right before the lot line, and it's going to create a natural swale. It actually goes back up into the neighbor's yard. You can see this 98 contour basically wraps down the lot line just inside their lot line and then comes forward again. So we just catch that grade. It'll create a natural swale between the two. They can blend them if they work together. They could blend the two together if they wanted to. It's not required.
So that can be done without a retaining wall.
It can. This doesn't have any impervious barriers associated with it.
Okay.
This is my neighbor to, I'm Dennis McCall, by the way. This is my neighbor to
Sure.
the right, as just Matt was describing. And we're in agreement that to blend it, instead of having this way that it would be better.
Great.
I'd like to read Jim Gareffi's comments. 6 Rita Lane, the sewage disposal system for this site is in failure. The soil testing revealed the site has a high seasonal water table and a high perk rate. Because the soil was damp, sieve analysis was conducted to arrive at a perk rate. The local upgrade approval will allow for the system and the required fill to be accommodated on the lot while minimizing the potential for surface runoff affecting the abutters. I don't have a problem with the request. The area is served by town water, and the reduction in the groundwater offset allows for a reduction in the grading necessary for the system, which will minimize the effect to the abutters. Comments?
I have no problem. You lucked out.
No problems?
I'm still reading this, though. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Does anybody in the audience have
Any
anything
comment from
else?
from you guys, no?
Just
have
a
any
comment you made?
Yeah.
Good to go?
My neighbors, and they're in agreement that.
Okay.
That'd be okay, right?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
We're
pick a
ready to
motion.
go. Make a motion for 6 Rita Lane, plan dated September 22nd, 2015, requesting relief from local upgrade of regulation, local regulation 27, fill required for breakout requirements within 10 feet of a property line, and for local upgrade approval for going from 4 feet to 2 feet using the Presby system, and 310 CMR 15405-1I to allow the use of the sieve analysis when a percolation test could not be performed.
Second.
You got a stamp on that thing?
Yes,
Can I see it?
sure.
It's the date.
Oh, it's beautiful. Nice and blue. Thank you.
9/22/15.
Okay, you all set.
Good.
I second.
that?
Yeah, that's what I said.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That went better.
That went a lot better.
I don't think Perkins ever had to come back.
Okay, now I got 13 chestnut. 13 chestnut.
15 Chestnut, that'd be kind of neat.
Have a good night, thanks.
Good night.
Thank you. Next up,
Here it is. This is the same letter.
8:05 hearing scheduled for, this is a continued hearing
Oh, discussion,
for
okay.
Lot 13 Chestnut Lane. Snelling and Hamel Associates,
You've got a disruption here.
a little bit.
Between
Folks,
you and-
Can you be kind enough to go outside? Thank you.
can you please
Good
go
night.
outside? Thank you.
Are you for the 13 Chestnut Street? Or Chestnut Lane?
This is a continued hearing for Lot 13 Chestnut Lane, Snelling and Hamel Associates, Inc.
Okay,
Variance for a septic system, new construction.
I think we need a lot of stuff from
We're
people.
waiting for our neighbors.
Okay,
They
they outside?
they should be coming here any minute.
Okay. Before they come, there's
The whole
a,
thing is, was discussed in the last meeting and with the easement plan, which we have submitted to the town.
okay, you
You
have that?
submitted it? You
Huh?
did submit the
Yeah.
easement? When did you do that?
Friday.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Well, can you let the young lady have it?
But not all
For
the
a minute.
paperwork. Not paperwork.
Yeah, here they are. Hello. How are you? That's the easement plan we emailed you.
Yeah.
Okay.
M.A. Professional Land Surveyor.
This is the,
Yeah, it needs,
Have recorded assessment document on both property. I think I'm back.
okay. Unfortunately, I didn't get a agreement until this morning, so, from the attorney, so, but anyway.
You have everything?
what?
Pardon? Yes.
Let me read it to you, what you need to have. A letter from the abutter granting this easement. You do have that, right? And his easement
Not
plan.
signed yet.
Pardon me?
Not signed yet. It has to
Okay.
be reviewed by their attorney.
Oh, okay, so in other
We
words,
don't have that.
So this would be subject to,
okay. But we can't,
Well, I would prefer
yeah, I can't do anything.
that the easements be in place prior to your coming before us, because any variance we give you isn't going to be worth anything if you don't have the,
No, we thought we'll
Easement.
have it by today.
well,
The plan has been made by the surveyor, and the agreement has been drafted, and we can read it, it's pretty simple, and I mean, I shouldn't be talking on behalf of, but they can say what they have to say to you. They have agreed with us in principle, subject to all paperwork.
Recorded easements on both of the properties,
All,
the
it's
budding
your turn.
properties.
If you just let them know that you have agreed.
Yeah, I mean, in principle, we don't have any objection to this. I think we have had some communication with them on the expectations and of the easement itself, and we're just receiving it now, so.
And you are who?
We're the owners of 181.
Can you write down your name on it?
10B,
the abutters.
they are the owners of 10B, from whom we are getting the
On the book?
easement.
You got it?
Paul and Emma Cody? Okay.
Okay,
I want to
so,
point out, we didn't receive a notification.
Because
that
I
this
was waiting
happening.
for the paperwork, and they didn't turn any paperwork
Okay,
in, so
right,
technically,
gotcha.
it shouldn't even be
Everything's-
on
They
the
only
agenda.
require-
Gotcha, everything last minute, okay. No
they only
worries.
need that the,
So I had
Be able to
emailed,
fill.
I had one email address, so I emailed.
I don't think I want
Know
to,
any of your neighbors?
Vote on
Tell them
anything
it's
until we
on
see
the
everything.
But then Jim
plan.
sent notes
because we
saying
need to see.
until
we
you
need to
were all
see.
set and it was signed and recorded, he didn't. he didn't.
Okay.
So technically, it wasn't supposed to be on the agenda.
Well, I'll read Jim's comments on it. The applicant needs a fill easement onto the abutting property in order for the current design to be approved, and I would not grant the requested variance unless the applicant presents the following: a letter from the abutter granting the easement, an easement plan showing the extent of the easement, complete by a Massachusetts professional land surveyor, a recorded easement document showing the easement has been recorded on both properties.
You got that? Not yet, right? I see. May I add something, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
All right, according to what they wrote, they say, on behalf of my client, I request the board to please allow the use of fill in the 10 feet setback from the property line, and also approve the variance we can do there, require for the use of an easement from the neighboring lot 10B. So we can, if the board goes along, maybe fill on the 10 feet, but then you stop. And then you have to come back again. Because you don't have the document signed by the attorney, as you just mentioned. So it's got to be done right, because we can't let anybody do whatever they want to, you know. Even I, or we can't do anything, what we like to do. We have to go through procedures. That's my comment.
Ian?
Due process.
You can, if I can request that you can approve it subject to getting the paperwork, so we don't have to come back, we just submit the paperwork once they have signed it.
All depends if the board can allow to do that, because there's only 3 members here. We're missing 2,
Yeah.
and it'd be nice to have the whole board and make a decision, you know? And we just like to play fair. We don't want you to come back as possible. Can they do that, huh? Can they do this?
Well, when you come back, I mean, whether you're here today, if you had all your paperwork, it's not just the easement, it's the whole package of
Whole
your
package.
whole system that we will be approving. And as I mentioned last time, the height of the retaining walls are very, very high.
Yeah.
Very, very high. And it's the whole package that we will be voting on. And we have to consider all aspects of that, so
With all that being said, I would just prefer that it be done in the order that makes the most
You really want
sense.
the paperwork signed, submitted.
because it has to go into their property and your property. It's not just your property alone, because you're both making the easement, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's multi-step here.
And it's got to be done by the attorney. That's to be legal. Because he says so, I says so. That way when it's written.
I don't think that doing anything tonight is going to
Okay.
save you anything.
No,
It-
I was
it's
only
just-
trying to save another agenda on this meeting, a continuation.
I know, yeah, I know.
I would prefer that the entire board be here too, because there is a lot going on here.
Yeah, that's a separate story.
Yeah.
But we don't really like to make you come back so many times.
So in 2 weeks, we'll have the next meeting, right?
We'll promise, as long as you will cooperate with us.
When's
we-
our next meeting, Shelley?
The 27th.
27.
Mhm.
Okay. So by that time, Paul, we can,
Was that, I think that's sufficient for review and.
yeah.
October 27th?
As long you,
And again, Tuesday, 2 weeks from today, too.
Might not be able to be here.
or you can have him sign it so he doesn't have to come back, and I'll notarize it. And then when the attorney comes, do it together.
Needs to be signed and recorded.
Has to be recorded.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and I'm sorry because.
No.
It's my.
Don't be so, we're trying to help anybody, but
I explained this to my attorney, but, who.
But there are 2 reasons. One is 2 members are not here. The second is our paperwork. So no regrets. Things happen.
we like to help him. We
Okay,
want you to
well-
be happy in Littleton, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully you can have everything back here in 2 weeks and be good to go.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Guys,
Good night, thank you.
8:15, discussion, 547 Great Road, GPR Engineering, Inc.
Bruce Ringwald stopped in before the meeting and said he's gonna continue this to a later hearing. Talk to Jim.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
So, permits to be signed.
Okay, so
So this one, yes, continue.
we have Rita, Goldsmith. What was the one you didn't want signed until after it was revised?
Chestnut.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
the other one.
No, it was 119 Goldsmith, I think.
Do you want to sign it and I just won't release it until we get?
It's Neil. Neil's going to put it's 96 Great Road. Neil's going to put
Neil's going to revise his.
put the poly
Steve's gonna
barrier.
revise
Yep.
his, but do you want to just sign them and they won't get released until the
Ain't it-
revised plans, or?
You want to do that? We can sign it, but, or you want to wait until the 5 members next time?
I don't have a problem signing that one.
Okay, we can sign it now,
96.
then you retain until, okay?
I think Neil's good for his.
I do too.
That'll be fine.
It's just adding the polyberry.
Yeah.
It's nothing major.
Okay. Easy. Okay, okay.
All right.
What do you got? What's that?
Bill and Ann need to sign it.
You want everyone to sign it?
And I need you to do something on this one.
All right.
Bill, you need to sign here on these two, and then both you and Ann need to sign on these two. So better in agreement. Gino,
I already signed it. Yeah, what?
I need you to add in here,
Okay.
because this is where the Board of Health is supposed to be notarized.
What do you want me to do?
Just add in and be related to the Board of Health.
Okay.
And then I need your notary stamp.
Okay, oh, that's right. What did you keep it for? You didn't say that before. You told me you didn't need it.
These are permits. These are
Need
permits.
it on the other one.
What's this?
Thank you. All right.
Oh, that's the community septic loan program.
Okay.
That's what that is. Okey-dokey. Oh, right here too. There's a second one. And this is for the second copy. There we go.
Email.
Where's the other,
Okay, you have to?
where's the other sheet?
I haven't finished. What
There's another
piece?
sheet that-
They were with the permits.
Oh.
There's two of them.
I think you need to stamp it next to each signature, Jamie. That's what one of them got sent back for.
All right. You got it right here?
Yeah, you need to do it next to all, you need
Oh.
to stamp next to all of them.
No, please, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do it in the top. What a tough day, man. All right. I thought-
Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Well, we just like to say that I was able to come tonight because I practically, I didn't think I was gonna be able to make it. I was on the highway,
Well, I'm glad you did.
and I
There
left.
would have been some very disappointed people.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how that happened. It takes me an hour and a half to get here. It took me an hour and 5 minutes. And I was going limit. So just to give you an idea.
So, that being said, can I have a motion?
Can I just say
Motion to adjourn?
one last thing?
Absolutely.
I forgot to mention that on Thursday, the 15th, there will be a flu clinic sponsored by Neshoba, Associated Boards of Health, and Littleton Board of Health, 3 to 6 p.m. at Littleton Middle School.
At the middle school?
At the middle school.
You know, I like, I was not listening to your conversation, but I understand. When I put papers like that, I rarely put the social security number. I put my license, and that's it. I was told by my attorney that only people that need the social security number is the income tax people.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so if they'd like to have my license, if they want to check me out, beautiful, no problem.
Okay.
You have a motion?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So Gino, you're talking about